Welcome to Voices of Vision, Stories of Soul. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Massage and Mindset with Catherine on YouTube. Please like and subscribe. Our focus is spiritually minded small business owners. Hello and welcome to Voices of Vision, Stories of Soul. This is a series that celebrates the dreamers and healers and creators shaping a more conscious world. Through heartfelt conversation, we uncover wisdom, purpose, and magic that moves the soul and inspires transformation. We are listening to this show possibly on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Massage and Mindset with Catherine on YouTube. We'd like to take a moment to show our respects to the Bunurong people, part of the Eastern Kulin Nation. We show respects to all elders past, present, and emerging. And before we do anything, we have an announcement. We have a sponsor, DJ's Vintage Vault. The hunt begins. And DJ's Vintage Vault is sponsoring Voices of Vision, Stories of Soul for the month of July. And so thank you to our sponsors. DJ's Vintage Vault are a fantastic variety of retro and antique, all eclectic and different, a room dedicated to witchy items and readings, a cafe with delicious menu items. There's so much stuff to browse, nostalgia, collectibles. Darren and Jay have worked tirelessly for this immersive experience. DJ's Vintage Vault, full of treasure, and it's 53 Reserve Road, Melton. It's got 17 fantastic reviews on Google. So thank you so much to DJ's Vintage Vault for being able to, help us to get through the experience that we have as far as bringing these amazing business owners to everybody and our listeners. And so thank you very much. Today we have Jess Botting, Jess the Journeying Witch, Jess from Witchcentric, which is the Geelong market. She, together with some friends, put together a big kind of witchy market with group energy healings, sacred circles, and community building. So, Jess, thank you so much for joining us today. We're really, really excited. We've been excited to speak to you in this way, which is just, it's a really, it's part of our experience to meet people as we go through our sort of journey, which isn't always witchy. It's sometimes witchy. And I wanted to tell you that I remembered after witch school last year, the online witch school, I went straight to your social media and followed you immediately because I was so excited and your workshop was so exciting. So thank you very much for being with us today. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
I'm Jess. So co-founder of Witchcentric with Raeven and Paige. I in the Muggle world, I'm a nurse. I've considered myself a witch for as long as I could remember, early teens probably. And also like a tarot reader since then. A deck was given to me as a child that I used, and from there. Proud cat mum. And I'm just really honored to be here tonight. I'm really, really honored to have been asked to feature in your podcast.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. Like the thing is, we want to ask you about Witchcentric because what I really think about with witchy markets is that there's something so exciting about going to a place that's full of inspired artists and practitioners and creators and all that kind of. I just absolutely am in my element when I go to one of these sort of markets. And it's not just about spending, it's like an exhibition. It's like the modern day exhibition where you get to just feel and touch and sense, and I just really love it. And I love that you were able to bring this more. You created more of that. So for that, thank you so much. Uh, what inspired you to create Witchcentric, and what gap did you see in the community?
Um, so there had been witch markets in Geelong before, in the years kind of previous, and that had sort of died down a bit. And it kind of came. Raven had briefly owned a witch shop, and she'd been running circles and things, and we became friends through that. And it was sort of her. She's like, I have this really amazing idea. Witch centric kind of comes from being like witch centered, but also eccentric. She's like, I have this really cool idea for the market, and her long term goal was always Geelong West Town Hall, but we wanted to start off small. So last year we had it at Sparrow Park or Fairlie Lodge Hall, a much smaller hall in Geelong West, and it just absolutely blew up. We had people traveling, which I never expected. That sort of thing. Like we mainly saw a gap in our community of Geelong. Not everyone can, leave Geelong and go to these things that are in Melbourne or beyond. So we were really trying to um, support our Geelong community with this event. But then we had people who were traveling from, 2 or 3 hours away, people from the other side of the state who had heard of us. We support the Bats of Geelong with our market. We fundraise for them. And when we'd asked someone on Etsy for some bat things that they'd knitted, they actually donated them because they'd heard of us and they live like the other side of the state. So that was really incredible.
Amazing. And I mean that's just so special when you can use what you're doing and then resource it out to help nature. I just love that. I think that's incredible. So so the market's created, the people come. I mean, weren't you scared? Didn't you just think like, oh my gosh, what if like just there's like, it doesn't feel. What if, yeah, what
Yeah, what if no one comes? Um, that's why we started off small.
if,
Because obviously our goal is making sure our vendors actually have a good turnout. So yeah, that was a bit of a concern. Like, what if no one comes? And we thought at least some people will come, but it definitely well and truly blew our expectations. And we have this beautiful story from our first market of someone being able to afford to replace a tool that had been lost in the process of their life. They're like, I have earned enough that I can buy this tool so I can start making this product again. And that was really special.
yeah, yeah, like synchronicity. Yeah.
Mm.
Was there a moment when you realized it was becoming more than just an event? I know there's a lot of bubbling over. I know you were featured in the local paper and all sorts of, media.
Yeah, it's really the expansion this year. So this year we did do Geelong West Town Hall. And then we contacted Fort Magazine and had an article run, and then the advertiser actually contacted us and were like, we want to feature you as well, and that was really awesome. So definitely having the expansion was really we could really see, and Geelong West Town Hall felt like home. So next year will be, we plan to use that hall for the foreseeable future. I think that was really the moment of like we've managed to run this event a second time, and we've had pretty much out of all of our vendors last year, just about everyone came back. They were all on board to come back. They all want to come back again. And it's kind of like we're not just creating a market, we're creating a community, we're creating this sort of market family. And that was probably the moment when it's like we've managed to do this thing well 2 years in a row. Was yeah, probably the moment.
Yes. I mean, there's that kind of turning of the year. I love that we can feel that. I love that we can be mature enough to be able to make plans and see things through more than just the next week or the next month. And I feel like some of these, especially having had been in the market space myself, I know that there's such an excitement, and then it also does help you map and plan everything else around it, or whatever else that you're doing as well. How do you create a space? This is something I really want to ask with my medicine job. How do you create a space where complete beginners just feel as welcome as experienced practitioners?
Um, that's a really good question. I had to really think about that one. Um, I feel like because we didn't just do the markets last year, we ran circles as well, on the Friday nights and in the same hall. So that helped build the community up. And I feel like most things probably did feel very beginner targeted. For us, it was important to make sure people, it didn't matter where you are in your journey, we'll meet you on your journey. But we did also have experienced practitioners come to these circles as well. They were able to share their knowledge and experience. And then I think something that's really special in this space is we are always learning. And there were things that like they're experienced practitioners, but they've never done sigil magic. And we did a circle on sigil magic. So it was just kind of like this environment of like, it doesn't matter where you are in your journey, we can all learn from each other and honoring that space and holding that space, I think. And trying not to come across as too elitist or hierarchical. I
Do you
think
think
it's about
do you think it's because you're such a really warm person that people just gravitate? I think that's it.
I try not to be too probably not kind enough to myself. But yeah, I think that that's the feedback I get, and I'm glad because that's my intention. I'm very much who you see is what I am. I'm sun, moon, rising, all in Aquarius, so it's very much like I am you what you see is what you get here, and I genuinely want to um know about other people and what they're doing and their interests and try to be as inclusive as possible.
Yeah,
And I feel that that does carry through, and I think that and Ray and Paige are both beautiful people as well, and we all have different strengths, and I think that that's like that helps that sort of cast that wider net of like there is a face that you can talk to
yeah.
um with
And
that.
if you've got a group of three people, you are all going to bring something different, which is just sort of part of teamwork. And yeah, I just found it very exciting. What were the unexpected challenges?
Um, we did find um it's important to always like you can't pour from an empty cup. And we did sometimes find that we maybe overcommitted, like in trying to really, and I think it might be better to have less frequent but more holding space in a more like secure kind of container. I think we didn't realize just how much it would take up energetically.
Mhm.
Um, and then I think you're always dealing with
That's
that
really
little
valid. Yeah, I just
yeah.
yeah, that is so valid. Just being in that workshop space. We've just finished a weekend of online witch school, which was really amazing. But it is very draining to the point where it's meant to be because you're meant to be able to have if you didn't if there wasn't some kind of draining experience, it would be like nothing happened. It would be like you just
Mm,
turned on ads or something. And I think because you feel like you say, like the cup is not empty, like the cup is full, it's overflowing. It's you don't know, you don't need to be able to go out of where you are because you've learned so much, or even if you've just touched on things that you really wanted to know more about, or feel like you've joined a community of people that are interested in that same sort of thing, you're joining those people, it kind of sends a little part of you to sleep, I think. So it can be tiring, like the search is ended. And I think that then your body just goes, oh, we can have a little rest now. And I think that's a lot of the witchy sort of community, is that it's so such a happy environment, because when you find people that are doing and creating in that scene, a little part of you is allowed to rest, because it can get really tiring trying to find that same sort of person, or to find your people, so to speak, the people that where you just click and everything seems to make sense. And it seems like there's this, infinitive sort of style of um involvement. But we all have to close our purse. We all have to close our purse and go, like, oh, we're not doing this, or this or this. But emotionally, I think that there really is something about like being able to having the security, because of things like Witchcentric and these sort of ongoing places, which are really quite localized, like across where we are, like from Melbourne over to Geelong. It's so beautiful to just acknowledge those localized centres that are putting on these sort of witchy and community and oracle-y sort of based events, because it really just keeps everything going. So if you move, you want to find something local, ideally. I just think that's amazing, and it does deplete the energy, but then you rise up, and then you rise harder and better and stronger. And yeah. Um, what? Yeah. What? Why is the community so important to you personally?
Think I feel that it's just important that everyone in the community feels seen, and is able to, like you were saying about finding your people, um, growing up and being very strong-headed and being like, I'm a witch and this is who I am. Wasn't always easy to find community for myself. And it was very, I think, a bit of a closed space maybe 10, 15 years ago. Um, to being able to create these spaces where people can come, and we've had what I love about witchcraft is it's such a broad umbrella of like how people, choose to practice, whether they work with deity, whether they don't. Um, it's not necessarily they may be religious and still a witch, or whatever their path is, Wiccan, traditional. We've had people from like different, it's kind of like an eclectic coven almost, in that people from different walks of witchcraft have been able to come together, um, and be seen and be heard, as well as see and hear other people. And that's when I think community, like that's what I'm picturing, and that's what I'm hoping to support. And creating the spaces that I had trouble finding a decade ago, trying to create them now. Be what you want to see,
Yeah,
I guess.
yeah,
If you can't find it, be it.
yeah, yeah. No, exactly. I'm really feeling it. Like I really felt. I'm one of those people that I do kind of collect people, like you can tell, because I'm doing this, and I've got just the podcast scenario of bringing people together that have just kind of shifted me. I'm just like, why are they so nice? Like, are they okay? Like, just because it's not in my nature, but at the same time, I people say that I am. So I think that we just find people like ourselves. And that's just leading to my next question, which is just with regard to social media, and it often presents witchcraft in one way. How does the real community differ?
See, I avoid witch talk. I know witch talk is a thing. I know that's where a lot of these like false perceptions and things come out. Um, so I probably managed to stay hidden from a lot of the social media thing. I guess what you said, like you're like how you said, why are these people so nice? I would say that yeah, witches are a lot nicer than social media wants to have them be perceived, I think, or that media imagery. And like you get different people who everyone has different personalities, but I think yeah, witches are probably more community driven than
Yeah,
social media, you believe as
yeah,
well. Like yes,
yeah,
there's solitary practice, and we have a lot of solitary practitioners in our overall like group that would come to regular circles,
Yeah.
they might practice on a solitary level, but they still want to be a part of the community.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we're very much more community driven than social media will have you believe as well.
100%. That's the perfect answer. And I was just going to say, because I don't actually have, like, I feel like the witchy community is brilliant and bubbling over and buoyant and full and joyous and so necessary in, this place where people are just like nuts over social media or like, just bobbing in and out of that gaming scenario. I think it's just such a perfect um, place to find support and love
Mm.
um, and like even if it's just simply collecting crystals, how beautiful is that scenario where you find and collect crystals, and then that's just such a personal experience, and then everybody kind of like I don't seem to realize how many different sort of facets of witchy there really is. And I think that's where what I really love about it, because it's like a kind of I'm more of a color person. So it's more of like, if there was like a color wheel, and you'd kind of, go all the way to from one sort of spectrum to the other. I really love how just like everything, um witchcraft is part can go all the way from like a handmade item to like some sort of blowout crazy festival, with all the stuff. So I really appreciate it. It can just be like sewing. It really can
Yeah,
be, or it can be,
craft.
like yeah, um mermaids dressing up as a mermaid. um
Yeah,
yeah.
that's the other thing is that like interesting that you say color because I think there's this perception that witches are spooky by nature. In fact, when we were looking for pictures for the Addy, they were like, "Oh, where's somewhere really witchy?" And we were like, "The gardens." I think there's this social media perception. I mean, I love black and I'm wearing all black, but not all witches wear black and it's
Yeah.
not about like there's the cemetery kind of like I love Halloween more than anything, but then it's like, but the gardens and the springtime and the and colors, like it's not just this one thing. And then I think the other really important thing to mention is that there's a real big crossover with the neurodivergent community and LGBTQA plus community within witchcraft itself as well, which I think then also creates these other facets and energies of witchcraft.
I really love everything you just said was just spot on. If someone, oh, sorry, I was going to say, what trends are you seeing in spirituality and alternative wellness across Australia? I really wanted to ask you that question and I botched it. Yeah, you go me.
You haven't botched it. I just that's a really good question because I don't really watch the trends.
Well, what
I
do you
wouldn't
like? What's your, I know you were sort of leaning on it, but I really just I love it, the expansion, but then I love being calm about it. Is that how you feel as well?
yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like you kind of go,
Yeah.
oh, but then you realize I'm calm about
Yeah.
expansion.
Just in the zone.
And, we've just been learning about the that book that is a 14th century book that was,
The malicious I can't speak Latin, but the Hammer of Witches was that
yes,
one.
yeah,
Yeah.
that idea, and the social enterprise of killing women at that time. I've just spent so much time in my head thinking about that just today, part of the classes, and I just find it so it's like empowering because it makes you want to go and learn about history, and I really use it that way, because I just find that everywhere I turn, anything to do with what we're talking about comes from a handmade point of view. And it's not really that many generations ago that we were all handmade. And I think that I have a little bit of that in my strain of existence. So I'm not really like I know when something is too deep or too sinister for me, but that's where I think everybody has their own likes and dislikes. That's just a like and dislike. If someone's curious but a little nervous about attending a witchy event, say like a witch school, what would you say to them?
That I understand you're feeling nervous, but try to work through it anyway because it will change your life.
Yeah,
That'd be my guidance, that and you don't I think the thing too is you don't have to call sometimes when talking about this community I say like witch or I might even be like witch adjacent where it's like you don't necessarily have to call yourself a witch but there are elements of witchcraft that people kind of participate in anyway. I run a group Paganism, Spirituality and Witchcraft in Geelong and surrounds as well. So I kind of encompass that big umbrella. So it's kind of like just because you go to witch school, you don't have to call yourself a witch yet. Trust me, by the end of witch school, you'll be calling yourself a witch. But
yeah,
you don't have to. It's not
yeah.
a cult. You don't have to
It's a
be
tricky label. It's not always appropriate.
yeah. Yeah.
I love that I do massage. I'm a massage therapist, so I love it's like I get this great big bubble of education, especially looking at the witch deaths. That is just like my little harbor of history because I really do like history. So I get right into the oh my gosh, and I can't believe this, and like the kings and the bad stuff. And then but then I realized that in studying bones and physiology and the muscles and things, it's all about the person and the right now. So I think it gives me a really good balance. So I can do what I can think whatever I like. I can be as witchy as I like because it's completely so irrelevant when you're talking to somebody about their pain. There's no kind of way to push through the colors of witchy appropriation than when you're sort of doing healing work and things like that as well. Um, and yeah, so tell us what's your vision with uh, Jess the Journeying Witch and Witchcentric? Um, what do you see yourself doing with markets and workshops? Say, tell us about the space in the next 5 years.
Um, well, we already have the hall booked for next year's market.
So
So
this is
Geelong West Town
Witchcentric.
Hall,
Yeah.
May 2nd, 2027, back to our Samhain kind of roots with that one. And we're sort of still working on how Witchcentric is gonna service the community moving forward, but we know like the one thing that we're really solid on is continuing to have a yearly market. So hopefully we're still doing that in 5 years' time. Um, just the Journeying Witch is a bit of a platform where I wanna one I this year was sort of spent kind of learning things, or I wanted to sort of go back and be the learner for a bit. So sort of a way of documenting that, but also a platform to talk about different things in witchcraft. So I want to start my own podcast, so keep an eye out for that. I've also been working on my own personal business format under the name House of Hecker, which I plan to do more workshops, much like when I taught at Witch School. I taught about casting the circle in online Witch School last year. I'd like to do a bit more about that, foundations of energy work, connecting with the goddess. And I have some goddesses that I work with myself that I feel drawn to maybe sit with them and potentially do workshops on them as well. And go back to reading tarot. I haven't read for people outside of my intimate circle for a while, so I want to get back at that. And I do have my level one Reiki, and I just did level one Seishim. But later in the year, I'm actually going to do a full energy healing. Ignore my cats trying to have an argument down there. Um, I'll be doing Reiki, Alchemy, and a Shati. So I'm hoping in the next year, like in the next sort of 1 to 5 years, be servicing the community in that way.
Wow, yeah, that's a lot of different sorts of um
Baskets.
yeah, yeah, no, but it is, but it's all service and it's all basically doing what you do, which is the oracle and the community building, sacred circles, group energy healing, which is like just it's so beautiful. I so gravitate to that kind of energy. And it's just it's so part of the like my experience to just be so excited about the Witchcentric Market and that's going to happen next year is so exciting. Um, and really, it's just because I really want this. I really want this creativity to be the thing. I really feel like it's a new world. It's a new order of sustainability where, if we could just all be artisans again, it would just be
Mm.
amazing. If everybody just, maybe AI can just take over the awful, job roles that no one wants to do, and then everybody just goes home and then perhaps praise to their gods and goddesses, and then just chooses to go into creating and being an artisan of some sort. Imagine if we just all bought homemade shoes again or something like that. I mean, it's just my element of where I just feel like community calms. I feel like there's so much like life on fast forward, and then through these experiences with oracles and community work and sacred circles, it calms us down, and then we go back to what? I mean, we should be like that anyway. And yeah, so thank you so much to people like you, Jess, that just spawn this slowing down, and this community, you know, like excitement and inspiration and aspiration as well. How can listeners find you, Jess?
So if they're looking into for Witchcentric, we are on Facebook and Instagram. It's Witchcentric with two C's in the middle. Just the Journeying Witch is also on Instagram, and Facebook as well. And TikTok. I have TikTok for Just the Journeying Witch,
Love
and then I've
TikTok.
just launched the House of Hecka Instagram and Facebook as well.
Okay, I love TikTok. I'm going to go
Yeah,
find you on TikTok. I find
yeah.
it's where I'm the most natural. Like I don't it's not a business for me. I just go on and meme myself, because I have that side of my personality.
Yeah.
um
A
I've
lot of
got
preparation for circles was just like we'd film. I'm sort of technologically challenged sometimes, so I'll film, put it through TikTok to like put a couple of things together and then make the TikTok and then share it on Reels and Facebook
yeah,
because I was like, I have no idea how else to do this, and a lot of it is just talking about like I would do. Most of my focus was new moons last year, so it'd be like this is what's coming, and yeah, and use TikTok that way. So
it
I'm
gives
excited
you
to do more.
sorry. Yeah, no, it gives you some kind of confidence that I don't have because like I don't know, it's so fast and just so I have special. Does it give you special confidence?
Um, yeah, I guess just
Say
yeah,
yes, yes.
yeah. I mean, I get what you're saying. It's kind of like you just put it out there and it's
Yeah,
there. You don't
yeah.
have
I
to
think yeah. Actually, I can tell you why.
worry
It's
again.
it's it's because it's a phone, like it's a device thing. You don't go onto your desktop and go, oh, I'm going to go on to TikTok. And I really didn't jump on that
Hmm.
Instagram thing. I didn't do the Instagram thing at all. Um, I just let Facebook be my Instagram. I try really hard, but then I'm not like an automated person. And so if I'm
Mm.
going to TikTok, it means I'm really, really bored, like really bored and self-interested. But then whatever I come away with always makes me feel like a little bit better because I love the video world that we live in. I love the idea that we can, kind of gate crash our own um confidence and just like I think we can all just be pure and go to the park. I think we can do that as well. So I like to have like both. I like to have go to the park or go into nature, go to waterfalls, but I do all those things without doubt and without fail. I go to the mountains and go to the rivers and all that thing. So, but then I also jump on TikTok and do random silly videos.
Yeah.
Jess, thank you so much for being here. I was meant to play my
me.
medicine drum at the start to welcome you in because I really just wanted to get this out. I got this from Athena bookstore in Apollo Bay. I did a workshop there and it was amazing. And this medicine drum has stayed with me, and I've done some cleaning today, so I've pulled it out, and I just wanted to end with a little bit of medicine drumming. And yeah, we will see you hopefully at the next market. And Jess, thank you, all the best. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you for having me.
And I'll just mention again our sponsors, which is DJ's Vintage Vault at 53 Reserve Road, Melton, 3337 in Melton. It's open every day but Wednesday, and amazing place. And this is Voices of Vision, Stories for Soul, Stories of Soul, and we are available on Apple Podcast and Spotify. And thank you, Jess, for being here. Bye. Thank you for listening to Voices of Vision, Stories of Soul. You can find us on Apple Podcast, Spotify, and Massage and Mindset with Catherine on YouTube. Please like and subscribe.